Upper body work today. We're going to start our warm up off. We're going to find a wall or something you put your feet up on. Open up the rib cage a little bit. So you want to scoot kind of close to the wall, or you can stick your straight legs up the wall, but we're not trying to get butt all the way to the wall so our legs are vertical, even if your hamstrings are really flexible. So you just want to position here. Think about getting your neck a little bit long and flat. So I'm pulling my head out so I can try to flatten a little more of my neck into the ground. I'm not trying to do it as much as I possibly can. Just a little bit of lengthening there should still be comfortable. And then now we're going to do 5 breaths. First exhaling everything out, flattening the low back into the floor a bit, and then inhaling and trying to get wider, fill the belly, fill the rib cage, feel everything stretch and expand, feel your shoulder blades stretch into the floor. So at your own cadence, 5 breaths. If you're doing it right, you may get a very strong stretching, almost cramping sensation through your back. Also experiment with your arms kind of in a scarecrow position. Excellent. All right, I'm staying in this position now. I'm going to still kind of have that chin tuck. I'm going to lift my head so it's hovering maybe just a centimeter off the ground. And then holding that position, I'm going to do my left to right turns, keeping the head from touching. We'll do 3. Back to neutral. Now we can come out of this position. Cat camel for 3. Come into neutral, and then we're going to do our shoulder blade circles from this position instead of standing. Try to make sure you're not rotating through the spine. If you had a ball balanced between your shoulder blades, it should stay there and not tip off to the side. There's 3 on one side, 3 on the other. And then we'll pull the toes under, set back into a little bit of a toe stretch. We'll touch on the lower body there. I'll come hands back forward, upper the knees off the ground into the low bear crawl position. Hold here for just a moment. Protracting the shoulders, pushing away. So some 5 strict scap push-ups here. Press down dog. Inchworm in, walking your straight legs in. They run out of hamstrings. They tuck the hips under and we'll Jefferson curl style. We have to stand from there. So That'll be our warm up. We're going to move into part A, which is some continued mobilization stuff, some weight and flexibility. So the same one we've done for a few weeks now. So 3 rounds for range. We've got 30-second supinated grip hang, which is just a fancy way of saying chin up grip hang. So from your pull-up bar, palms facing you, roughly shoulder width. Full hang, try to let the shoulders stretch out fully, biceps in the ear. So you're going to be stretching out the arm lines down into the shoulders. Try to stay tucked in a little bit of a hollow body, as opposed to hanging out an arch while you're hanging. The second one is the upper pec range press. This one, ideally, you have a slant board. It can be done on a little incline bench or other things. And this is where we're using a fairly light weight, getting into sort of a shoulder hanging over the edge of the bench. Incline bench press. So notice my shoulders are hanging out off the bench. I've got my weights here. Palms will face forward. And then I want to squeeze my shoulder blade, elbows come straight out to the side. And then I'm getting into a stretch to those upper pecs, pause, and up. Down, nice and controlled, pause it there. Yeah, some of you may be able to get a little lower, but just make sure you're not dropping your elbow. That's not what we're looking for. You should be perfectly 90 degrees. 90 degrees to the side, so it should, you look at a side-on view, and staying right here at 90 degrees, not down here. And if you're getting this right, you'll feel it, and you'll specifically kind of up in this upper region that's really commonly tight. Then the third thing is seal push-ups. A mobilization-based one here where I'm pressing up into a cobra, back down, so you can start small, work bigger. Think of lifting the upper back and wrapping yourself around something round, keeping the glutes squeezed nice and tight. And then the fourth and final one here is the wide grip pullover. So you'll need bench, a dowel, and some sort of a weight plate, not a whole lot. On this one here, I want to be out at a wide grip, kind of a snatch grip or so, a grip that you wouldn't be able to pass through or maybe to dislocate with. Pull my shoulder blades into the bench, and then I'm pulling while keeping them there and not allowing my back to arch. I'm coming into a stretch. At that bottom part, I can pull it in just a little bit, not much. It's like an inch or two. It's not like an overhead row. Pause, and then try to contract the stretch muscles to bring yourself back up out of it. So contract, pull out into that nice wide position, engage and pull in just a bit, and back. And that exercise, you can add a little more weight as you go. So 3 times through that, again, you might be able to add a slight bit of weight on the pullovers, possibly the range press too. So we'll go through that, and then hit pause and talk about part B. Part B, so we have our rotating EMOM here. So I'm going to set up that every minute on the minute timer. We're going 24 minutes, which 3 exercises means 8 times through it. You got the bench dip with hip extension that we've been doing. This is a great one for both triceps, but also shoulder extensions. So we want to keep the shoulder blades pulled back at the start so they're not tilted forward. And I want to get out into a back plank, glute squeeze, legs straight. I'm keeping my elbows relatively close together and dropping as low as I can, and pressing back up and locking out at the top. We want to really try to keep a strong lockout here for a second each rep. Another key point is a lot of times people's feet will splay out at this lockout. Try to keep your feet pointed straight forward so we get a little more of the inner hamstring in there too. Okay, so 8 of those. You'll want to move quick enough that you have some rest in the rest of the minute, of course. Then we have 6 per side, elbow out dumbbell rows. This is a 1-arm row. Can be done with barbell. No, not a barbell. I'm sorry, kettlebell. I meant or a dumbbell. The weight stays facing perpendicular to you, and elbow comes straight out to the side. So very much like the tech press we just did. When it comes straight out at 90 degrees, we'll almost start dropping down here where it's a stronger position. And this is going to be very isolated to some smaller muscles in the upper back, so it does not take near as much weight as a classic row. Maybe not even half the weight you could row, doing a normal row where your elbow stays in and down. So 6 per side, and you can go up in weight. I would start easy. You can go up in weight if able as you go through it. Again, tempo is kind of up to you, but definitely control it and make sure you save enough time. You have at least a little bit of rest. Then minute 3 is with the standard jump rope. If you have one rather than a heavy rope, 75 single unders. And here's where there's a little twist, taking a little bit of inspiration from the CrossFit games there. The first 4 times you go through this thing, you're going to see if you can get 75 reps each time and you don't trip. If you trip even once in the course of doing that 75, you want to just continue as normal and reset, keep going until you get your 75, but don't count it as a completed unbroken set. You just do the work, move on. If in the first 4 rounds, you never trip on each of your 4 times through the 75, then for the remaining 4 rounds, you can practice double unders for 30 seconds. Even if you don't normally practice them, it's a cool skill to get. You're not requiring, maybe you don't make any, you're just trying for 30 seconds. Okay, so that becomes the work instead of the single unders. But if you've tripped your single unders, keep going and work on getting 75 clean, no trip reps through the whole 8 rounds. If any of you are good, I know there's a couple in the group that are pretty good at doubles and singles. So if you're no problem on the doubles as well, I would just say then your challenge, once you've got through still do the singles. Remember, elite CrossFit Games competitors choked single unders unbroken in a workout at the games. If you never do single unders and you only do double unders, you actually probably aren't very good at single unders. So everyone does 4 unbroken sets of 75. Only then do you potentially move on to something else. Let's say if you're pretty good at double unders, you could pick a challenging number to do unbroken for you. That'd be individual to everyone. I won't go above 50. I don't think we have any double under Jedis in the group. But pick a number that you think you can challenge yourself with. Okay, so have fun with that. I'm kind of looking forward to hitting this one. And then we'll talk about proceed. Okay, last but not least, a little bit more upper body flexibility work to round it out. We've got just 2 rounds of this. Again, standard stuff. So cross bench pullover now. So dumbbell, but weight plate, kettlebell, lots of things can work for this. Empty barbell. This kind of classic one here. If you have choice of all kinds of implements, let's say do it using a dumbbell as I am here. So grabbing kind of goblet style, keeping the hips bridged up, coming back into a full stretch. You keep the elbows relatively straight and up. You can drop your hips. A lot of times it's a better shoulder stretch if you don't, and keep your core engaged. And we want to find a weight that challenges you, but you're able to get your full range of motion with. So we don't want to go so heavy that it shortens up our range of motion. And then the second thing is the twisting press to windmill. The last few weeks, just the twisting press. Now we're adding in the windmill. You can use, a lot of times we use empty plates for this, but you can absolutely use dumbbells or kettlebells, even an empty barbell. I've been using dumbbells for more load on these lately. It's because we're windmilling. I would turn my feet slightly away from the side with the weight, wind up, rotate and press. And then once we've got it pressed out, then you're going to hinge down. near a windmill. All the way back up. So each rep, so twist, a press, then a drop, and then to recover, you want to stand all the way back up, get a nice solid overhead position before you bring the weight down and go into your next rep. Your choice on this, you can do them very segmented, as I just showed, where it's a twisting press is fully completed, and then I do the windmill, or you can do them as you get warmed up, you can kind of sew them together where I'm twisting, pressing, but I'm also kind of pressing myself down into a windmill. Just make sure you come all the way back upright, bring the weight down. All right, and that is today's work. Add load on the second set of those if you can.